Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. You've reached the African Chronicles, the Freedom Wave Project, and I'm Evangelist Charles, and I just want to talk about today the voting or the election, the presidential election in the USA. And basically the theme of this message is just simply this. When have our vote ever mattered? We, specifically the Native Black Americans or the ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, this is specifically to you as well as I speak to my white counterparts and my white allies. Because the thing about it is, just like with Martin Luther King, you had people that rolled with us, but it wasn't as many as you would imagine. And they didn't like Martin Luther King as much as they detested Malcolm X. So what does that say in layman terms? They hated both of them. So, and it proves itself even to this day because, again, that's like 52 to 57 years ago, and our vote still doesn't count. And there's several reasons why our votes doesn't count. I'll start with the obvious one. The Electoral College picks the president anyway. Those are people that most likely, if you look them up, because it is public knowledge, just Google them. In every state, they have these delegates. It's a part of that electoral college. And most of those guys, if not all of them, do not look like you or I. Neither do they represent, and if they do, neither do they represent the masses of the people, the black people. And I'm talking about the Native Black Americans. Because you got to understand that the Jamaicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominican people from the Dominicans, the people from Caribbean, the Caribbean people, they came over just like any other immigrant, and if you really notice, it's the population of those people that come from overseas in that particular region are light skinned. So they come over with the understanding of being subservient. That means being like a maid, a nanny, a janitor. They come over with that mentality. And they come over with the mentality that you can sign on the dotted line with your freedom, with your citizenship, and guess what you get? I get to be white. See, because don't forget, the white privilege is not just for the Native white American. No. Remember, all the time that all 360 years of slavery, you've never seen a whole bunch of, well, you didn't see them at all. You didn't see the Chinese, the Japanese, the Vietnamese, the Korean, people from the Caribbean. You didn't see them as slaves. Just go back and look at your history books. Go back and look at some of these. Matter of fact, just don't use Google. And I'm going to put this up on the screen in a second, but that you have over 10 great 10 great search engines that you could utilize and fact check everything that I'm talking about. And see, that's how you do real journalism. That's how you do real, just for your personal enlightenment. See, I didn't get this way of understanding by not researching first and not listening. See, Trump is right. There is such a thing called fake news. And this is how he knew for sure, using that fake news, that he could actually become elected as president when he decided to run, whenever he got that, that desire. So, and this is the same people, the Electoral College, who actually voted Obama in. Oh, you thought you voted Obama in. Well, now you know. Because the popular vote has always been there for the American people. We usually, and this includes whites and blacks, we usually pick the very best of people with integrity and honor and compassion and kindness. We usually pick them as a whole. But what happens is the Electoral College usually defies what the people wants normally. So, and all you have to do is just, again, go ahead and do your research. Secondly, now does the vote we have, as far as the popular vote, and we getting out there for this presidential election, does that help in terms of keeping the morale? Yeah, just depends on who you talk to. But watch this also. I'm not saying don't go vote for your local officials, your state officials. That's what counts. But a lot of times in the fake news, you don't have them talking about that, and it's not enough of buzz and not enough of publicity for us to go out and do this. Not even from our own parties. The Democratic Party doesn't have you going out there to door like they be doing, and absentee votes, voting, and all this rhetoric that they and all this money that they spend on commercials and whatnot. They only do that when we pick a president. So you have to be alert. You have to be aware. So I'm not saying don't go and do that, because that's actually where the real key issues are. Okay, here's another reason our vote doesn't count based on what I just said. You cannot go out here on your local and state level and keep voting for the same tired, clever foxes that they are. See, just like I believe Malcolm X or one of those guys said, I think it was Malcolm X, he talks about how the difference between a wolf and a fox quickly is a fox can be lighter on their feet, can creep up on you quicker, and even if you see them coming, they have this clever smile or smirk on their face. See, a lot of times when we see them coming, we think they're smiling and we think they're good and we think that we can deal with those guys. But just like Martin Luther King said, that the average white liberal person, liberal, is a polite racist. And it's been proven. Again, even dealing with our vote. Because without a vote, you don't have a voice. And without a voice, guess what? You don't have a vote. So at this point, when I make the point about we can't continue to vote on coons, Uncle Toms, bigots, snakes, vipers, do you get the point? You can't keep voting on these people, which they all stand for. They all are sellouts. That means they have a negative or evil agenda, and we have to make sure that we honor yourself, for instance, not only yourself, but the people as well. And we owe it to ourselves to pick somebody that's going to represent the masses, because everybody want to be prosperous. Everybody have a dream to better their family, their children, their children's children, and we have to take a stand now. Now, do I believe it's do or die? No. We've been living through some tough times if you're a native Black American. And if you're an Adolf, American descendants of slaves, you've been living through tough times. You've been living through tough challenges. See, you were the only one that can actually say that you were bootless. And you made it. Now, see, you got to understand, though, the percentages of that is small. So and I want to say that for the fact of put some spirituality into this. So if you made it like I did, it was only because of the favor and the anointing and the blessings on your family before you, life, your mother and father, your grandparents. That's why. Now, that doesn't mean they did something different than anybody else. No, it doesn't. Because God is not a respecter of people or what you do in that vain way. But what he is a respecter of people that can have compassion, kindness, forgiveness, mercy. The things that in order to make America great, we need those things now. Getting back to the voting, here's how that actually ties into the voting. See, we have people like Oprah, Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, to name a few, Robert Johnson, and some other CEOs that turned billionaires from these corporate companies that's African American, as they call it. Again, that's not a term I use. We are native Black Americans. because we've never been given our identity. We won't go there right now. So in order to, going back to those guys I just named, they need to have that same compassion, that same mercy, that same grace that was given to them, and they need to recycle it within our communities. And people quick to say that they have, but they have not done this. And because I'm in a place where I respect their rules and culture, I can't really get into those deep discussions. But what I will say is this: they have billions of dollars. They're really, if you look at the 1% opposed to the 99%, we already know the 99% is us. We're the real working class. We're the real person that's not struggling, that works hard every day, but yet we pay more taxes than anybody. We don't have affordable housing. See, in California, New York alone, if you wanted a 1-bedroom, nice, decent apartment, it's going to cost you $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That's just the actual leasing or renting of the place. So if our votes count, why is that? Again, we voted on the presidential election, where it should matter, where our top leader, should be going against vetoing things like that, but they're not. And that's hence the reason why I'm in front of you right now, because I believe in America is still people that really want to make America great finally. See, I believe it's people that want to atone for what was the mistakes that was made years ago. And I'm not talking about past, I'm talking about recent past. Because remember, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X both, they only died approximately 52 years ago. That's still in our recent past. And you telling me that the wealth gap is for Native Black Americans, or for Adolf, or just look at the masses of Black people that are suffering? You telling me the wealth gap only went up a 0.01 of a notch? Of the 1%ers, which are the elite people, which I just described, the so-called African Americans like Tyler Perry, who's a part of that. Come on, guys. Even for the people that he employs, he's not actually employing to make sure that they can survive the rest of their lives. See, you got to understand that if you have billions of dollars, and we still got millions, more, matter of fact, we have hundreds and thousands of millions of people, come on guys, that are homeless, that are starving. These are military. 70% of these people that you see on the street in the different states that you live in are veterans. People that went to war overseas for us. And again, I'm not going to talk about those wars because, again, I'm not trying to get in a debate. I'm trying to talk and speak facts. It's a fact that those people came back and had all types of issues. They never got rehab. That's why they ended on the streets. Because again, if our vote mattered, remember, we voted for military programs. We voted for pensions and Medicaid and Medicare. I'm talking about for the people who was working. We're not talking about lazy bum. Excuse me, not that. That's not the word I'm looking for. We're not talking about the lazy people that the media, the fake media, talks about. They exaggerate on a level that I can't even speak about right now on this video. This is the real reason why you got what you wanted, Michigan. At least so far, as of yesterday, you got what you wanted. Trump. So, and things may have turned around today because, again, like I said, maybe God have mercy on the people, not only of Michigan, but that whole region, nation. Because again, you have a place divided for what? This is the same thing would happen when the people were, literally having property, slaves as property. It was a debate. It was a war. It was a constant brainstorming on what to do when it was simple what to do. It was common sense. What person would want to be a slave? So why would any nationality, any ethnic group become or think about debating about being slaves? Same thing here. I'm not debating whether Joe Kamala against Trump and I forget his name. Oh my gosh. Whatever the vice president name for the Republicans, it doesn't matter because all four of them are the same. First of all, Trump is a wolf. And we already understand how wolves come. They come they usually come to destroy their prey. Because again, that you are their prey. Then you have a associate of Trump. He's a fox. What do foxes do? See, they can go quickly. They can sneak up on you. Why? Because they're always smiling. They're always looking like they could be your friend or looking like somebody that you can, win over. Then you take the same equivalent to the Democratic Party. Joe is definitely the wolf. Kamala's the fox. And the bad part about it is the American people have bought into this yet again. Because see, those two groups alone been able to live off of our tax money, sometimes I want to say arrogance, because in some cases it is arrogance for some people, but our ignorance. They've lived off that for countless years. Maybe I won't even say decades. But enough is enough. It's time. People are feeling it. White and black are feeling the effects, not only of COVID-19, which again, how did that even exist? Because our voting does not count. See, our voting, if it counted, then that means they would have put a plan together. Because a lot of these scientists and medical people, this is nothing new. They know about these different plagues or different diseases, and they understand that some of them, which this particular one it can mutate. And then if they understand if this information or this science is put in the wrong hands, of course it can go and spread and be rampant. But they also know how to stop it. Because they know how to put a team together that can do this. Now, I'm digressing. But the vote, if it's there, then the American people votes on what to do with these different sciences. We vote on climate control. We vote on these things, and it sticks, and that's how we do it. See, if our vote counted, why is it that every time we have a popular vote, the other guy who's not popular gets in? That's ridiculous. That's not a democracy. That's insanity. That's insanity. So now I got my glasses on here. I really can't see the time. So because I know I'm short on time, this is what I'm going to say. Now I heard today, because I haven't really researched, but I heard that Biden is coming along in the polls. Now I heard that he has at least 5 states, including Michigan, that the votes are coming up to look in his favor, which I did not expect. But what I'm saying is, if you're expecting for a different, if you're expecting, I'm trying to think of that quote. But if you're expecting something different, if you're expecting a real change, if you're expecting a real reform, if you're expecting a real newness about our home country, then you're still sleeping. People arguing at me, wanting to hurt me because I'm telling them not to vote, or I'm telling them to vote third party, an independent. See, people in North Carolina, they listen to me and other black media because 120,000 of those people already voted, which you don't hear about. Like I said, most people have not heard about this because of the fake news, but they've already voted unaffiliated, which means they voted as an independent. They didn't vote for Democrats or Republicans because we know right now that system is flawed too much. Again, we know that system has failed. And because we know it has failed, and because we know the urgency of COVID-19, And before COVID-19, it was so many millions, 100 millions of people who are going without food, going without money to pay their bills. They are being evicted, taxes still going up, people still not being employed by these so-called Fortune 500 companies, but yet NASDAQ has been rocking. The New York Stock Exchange, it's been rocking. And see, and I find it ironic too on YouTube or some of those places, one of those places, I don't know which one specifically, but they got people promoting these same companies, or now they want to lower their, when you buy stock in their company, they want to lower the shares or make a certain group so economy shares. Really? So they can still use our money in real time? Again, showing us that our voice and our vote does not count.